Hello and welcome to the closing ceremonies for Trend Micro CTF 2020 Raimund Cup, the finals. I think it was it's been a long 23 or so hours for everyone. I think, the teams are probably as tired as we are. And so we're going to hopefully have a short but a great ceremony for everyone. There was a lot of action in that last hour, and we're glad to share this with you. So we've got a few things that we'd like to share. Most importantly, we want to talk about the winners of the event, and then we've got a couple of other things we want to share just in terms of thanks to everything that we've done to put this together, and then also talk a little bit about 2021 for those that are interested. So without further ado, let's get started. So to start off, we're going to have some closing ceremony comments, and like to introduce first Mike Gibson, who's our Vice President of Security Research for Trend Micro. Mike.
Great, thanks, John. Yeah, first off, I just wanted to come on and say thanks to all of our participants. So I know we had to do a bit of a shift this year and go to a virtual event. To be honest, I always loved the trip to Japan and getting to walk the room and watch everybody working live over the 2 days that we typically hold this event. But obviously, we weren't able to do that this year. But I'm glad the team was able to respond and continue to put this event on anyway. Hope everybody enjoyed the last 24 hours. I can tell you that it takes a lot of effort. There's a lot of teams. This is probably one of the most collaborative, large-scale collaborative projects we've got going on at Trend Micro when it comes to putting on both the online qualifier and these finals. It's teams from all over the world that come together. A lot of people put a lot of time into this, and for the most part, it's their own time. It's their personal time that they're volunteering because they just want to make sure that this contest goes smoothly and we have a little bit of fun with the participants. And it wouldn't be a CTF without a few hiccups. So the team was monitoring things over the last 24 hours, and there's a few glitches here and there, but I'm glad that we've got everything sorted out and had a good 24 hours. Hopefully, fingers crossed that we can get back to a live finals next year, and I'm sure John's going to share a little bit about that when he talks about what our plans are for 2021. But I do hope to be able to get in the room and see everybody face to face and walk around and see you all face down in your keyboards and computers trying to solve these challenges we put together. So again, thanks to all the participants, especially thanks to all the trenders who came together to pull this off. This is no small feat, and we owe a lot to everybody that participated here. With that, I don't want to hold things up. I know that everybody's anxious to get to the results. So with that, I'll pass it back to John.
Thanks, Mike. So as Mike mentioned a little bit earlier as well, it's again, it wouldn't be 2020 with a little bit of glitch, a little bit of action, but I think overall it went pretty well. The original thing that we wanted to do this year was we did have some at the end of last year. We had some great plans for this year, and then of course with the pandemic, we had to kind of shift back to a virtual model. But I think with the addition of Discord, and for those of the teams that have joined us for in the past, hopefully you'll agree that some of the additions that we've done this year made it a little bit more collaborative, interactive for the teams. So again, at the end of the day, as Mike mentioned, this is a lot of us. This is definitely not our day job. We do a lot of different things in security research and vulnerability research. Now, a lot of the challenge creators, what they do is they put together their expertise into helping to make the challenges. So that's where they're pulling from their expertise and whatnot. But in terms of putting on the CTF, it's something that we do. We have a great time doing it, but hopefully everyone had a great time. So with that said, again, just to reiterate the prizes. So we had first, second, and third place. So we'll get into it, but it was close. We had some in the last hour when we went to the blackout. We definitely had some changes. So you may be a little bit surprised in how it finally finished off. So we're gonna go right into it. So the winners, we're gonna start with third place, and it was actually a tie. There were two teams that finished with 2,097 points, but there was actually, and as we, if you looked at the packet that we sent ahead, there are two tiebreakers. We didn't have to get to the second tiebreaker. It was just the first tiebreaker, which was the peak score. So whoever had the highest peak score at any given time got the virtue of the tiebreaker. So In this case, third place, Code Red. Second place with 2,459 points. Now, this actually, for those of you that were following, is actually changed. The leaderboard did change in the last hour when we went to blackout. So the second place team Hyundai Bites. So that leaves for first place, slipping in, and right after we went into the blackout for 2,622 points, this year's grand champion and 2020 CTF Trend Micro Raimund Cup champion, Team Whiteserd. Congratulations. So we'll show you the final ranking. So I think if everybody was watching, and we did say there were a couple that scored in the last hour. So Team Whiteserd scored a little bit after we went to the blackout, which changed the top count and changed the first two. And then Team Maple Bacon at the very end, literally with a minute and a half to go, scored. They got their last challenge in. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to bump them. So it did diminish or did decay the points of the top two, but 3 and 4, it didn't touch them. So unfortunately, it still didn't change the final standings, but there was a little bit of drama, and we had to make sure the calculations were correct. But at the end, these were the final rankings here. We will post these for all to see, but the final rankings. But, again, congratulations to all the teams. This is, one of the things that we were making a comment about the team as we were kind of reviewing is that what we really felt this year, that it was balanced. For the most part, the scoring was very balanced, that the different teams, throughout, where there was a lot of movement in the scoreboard, the ranking up and down, there was, quite a bit of movement throughout the competition, and every team got on the board and was able to, to score. And it wasn't the same challenge. There were a couple challenges that did diminish to 100, meaning that, almost everybody got them, but there were a lot of different challenges. In the end, I believe there were only 3 challenges that were not solved. So, out of 18, that's a pretty good number. And those, 3, I know there were some people that were still working on them. There were a couple of questions about whether or not we'll do some write-ups or not. We will kind of look and see, traditionally the way we've handled that is if you do have some questions specifically about some challenges, we'll try to see what we can do about that. And, we have been looking at ways that we can share the information. And we know there are a lot of teams that continue to want to work on some of the challenges. We know that you put a lot of effort into it, and you may want to continue doing it after the event. So, let us know, and we can get you some of the files you need and try to share some of the information. This is just as exciting for our creators. They're just as excited to watch the team score as we're going along and looking at the submissions and things like that. So it's just as important for them to see it as you guys are doing it as well. The other thing we wanted to show is just the peak scores. So as we mentioned, there was a tiebreaker, and this chart's a little bit hard to read, but you can kind of see basically how the way that the dynamic scoring goes is, it goes up and down. There are a lot of peaks and valleys. And as we mentioned, that tiebreak, Code Red did have a peak score of 2209. It was towards the end, and TRX had a peak score of 2097, and that's how that tiebreaker worked. But, again, the dynamic score is how we kind of go up and down, and that's where it makes the competition a little bit more, thrilling and different. And it definitely gives it a different thrill than just your standard scoring, Jeopardy scoring. So again, it really worked out, we think, this year, and something we're going to continue using in the future. So after that, the finals, the other thing we wanted to talk about a little bit, and again, congratulations to Team Whiteserd and the other teams for doing that. Actually, before we go into the finals, one of the things we would like to do, it's a little bit hard in this format, or this the format of the Zoom session or whatnot, but we'll be in touch afterwards. So Team Whiteserd and the other teams, if you would like to say a few words, if maybe if we could get a video or a special message from you, that's something that we'd like to post and share with the community, we'll coordinate afterward. That's something we definitely like to hear from you, to say a few words. So we'll be in touch. Special announcement. For the 2021 CTF finals, as we mentioned, um, at the end of last year, we had some plans that this year, into our 6th year, we wanted to do something a little bit different. Our first 5 years were started and raised in Japan. And it's been great. I think a lot of people enjoyed going to Japan and participating in it. But as the competition's grown and Trend Micro is a global company, we do want to, examine, or we actually want to show off different parts of the organization. And there's a lot of different places where our research community and our research group, they participate around the year, around the world. So one of the things we talked about doing is actually changing the location, giving an opportunity, especially for the teams that have been with us for the last several years and continue to get in the finals, to give them a little bit different look, something a little different, and start to rotate a little bit. So one of the things that we want to share for next year, and again, Team Whitesert, congratulations. One of the things as the winner of this year's competition, because it is virtual, and we thought it'd be only fair. We do invite you. You have an automatic invitation to the 2021 in-person finals, as well as any other team that wants to go ahead through the qualifiers. We are announcing today that we plan to host it in the city of Toronto in Ontario, Canada. So it's a beautiful city. We actually have a very sizable operation in Canada. We do quite a bit of research. So for those of you that know Trend Micro or follow us, we do have we do quite a bit of our vulnerability and threat research in Toronto. So this is something we kind of want to share with the community, and do that host. So we will look for tentative time, again, kind of looking into 2021, how the different things with the health and everything kind of works its way out. But that is our tentative plan. We will start to communicate that. But that's something we're really, really excited about, and looking forward to hosting next year in the city of Toronto. So, again, this city of Tokyo and Japan, we've had a great run there. That's not to say that we won't do it again in Japan. We might start to look in rotating, but for next year, Toronto it is, and we look forward to seeing some and hoping to see all of the teams here in Toronto. So one last thing we wanted to share with the team is, as Mike alluded to a little bit earlier, it takes a lot of people to put this event on from the Trend Micro side. So everything from the challenge creation to making sure that we've got the back end server and the infrastructure, and both the online qualifier and the finals. There's quite a bit of effort that goes into it. So real quickly, just wanted to share just a quick little credit roll to give you an idea of the number of people that helped to put on this event. So to wrap it up, thank you for competing in our 2020 CTF Raimund Games Cup finals, virtual finals. Congratulations to all our winners. We hope to see you in Toronto next year in 2021. And on behalf of the whole Trend Micro team, it's been great hosting all of you, putting this event on for you. 2020 has been a difficult year, I think, for everyone. Please have a good, happy, healthy, and safe rest of the year. And we look forward to sharing some information with everyone about 2021 our online qualifier in the summer and going from there. One last thing is there are, I'm seeing as, as we're talking here, we've got quite a few messages coming in through Discord. We will continue to leave the Discord server up for a bit. Please, give us some time that, there are a lot of questions coming in. We will try to get to each of them over the next couple of days. We know some folks have some questions about different challenges and things like that. We do want to share some of that information as we get it. We'll figure out the best way to do that. And, we'll do that over the next few days. For our 3 winners, please be on the lookout. You will be getting an email. Team leaders will be getting an email with information on how we'll coordinate the prizes and things of that nature. So team leader, please, there's some important paperwork that you do need to fill out and get back to us. So we'll get that sent out pretty quickly. Other than that, if you do have any questions or information, things like that, like we said, we'll keep the Discord server up for a few days. And then also there's a TMCTF at trendmicro.com email box that's always there. We always, something we do look at throughout the year, and we'll get back to you. So if you ever have any questions, drop us an email, and we will, keep the Discord server up for a bit. Again, thank you very much, everyone. Have a great rest of the year. Thank you so much for your participation. It's been great, and hopefully you had a good time. Thanks, everyone.